So let's answer the last two problems in problem number, number 7. Okay, problem number 7, the last two parts. So for the first part, let's get started. Well, I want to do what we did earlier. I want to cancel the leading term, right, on the top and bottom. On the top, it's square root of x squared, which conceptually is x. The highest order term on the bottom is x, so I'm dividing by x on the top and bottom simultaneously. So I can rephrase my problem, which is 7 over x minus 7x over x. My numerator is slightly more challenging as x squared plus 10x, and then I divide it by x. But in order to be able to do the division, I hope you realize that the x is mathematically equivalent to square root of x squared. So this x is mathematically equivalent to that term. And my numerator, I can simplify it. So what I end up with is limit x approaches to infinity. My numerator changes into x squared over plus 10x over. And what was that over? It's over x squared over x squared. And then you have 7 over x minus 7. So your problem changes into x approaches infinity, square root of 1 plus 10 over x, 7 over x minus 7. So you know the other terms where you have constant over infinity goes to 0. So your final answer is root 1 over negative 7. In other words, negative 1 over 7 is your final answer, right? Negative 1 over 7. So the second half of the problem is slightly more challenging, but I don't really require you to be able to do it in tests, right? For life science, we always send time to approaches to infinity. It's for the engineering students that we go into both directions because they talk about the conductivity and things like that, and propagation of waves, which they have multiple options of directions. So first of all, it's not required. Secondly, how do we actually solve it if we really want to? You might have already noticed that those two problems, the function you were dealing with, they are technically the same thing, right? So they are technically the same thing. So conceptually, you should end up with the same number if you were carry out the process 1 over 7. However, there's one thing you want to discuss or pay attention to. We need to include our concern about the sign. So when you try to discuss the sign of the expression, the numerator is square root of something, it's positive. The denominator is 7 minus 7, negative infinity. Think about it. X goes to negative infinity. 7x goes to negative infinity. Negative 7x goes to positive infinity. And add a 7 to it, you go to positive infinity. So in other words, your denominator also goes to positive expression. So positive over positive. So your final answer should be conceptually the same as the previous problem, except the sign should have been positive. So the final answer for the second half of this problem is 1 over 7 versus the original one was negative 1 over 7. You don't have to worry about the calculation. If your original, the sign of the calculation, it would be automatically correct if the problem had been sending x to positive numbers, so it's automatically correct, okay? It's only a concern when we are trying to approach something that's going to negative. It might get in the way, so we need to discuss the sign separately. But in the end, I hope you keep in mind it's not something that's required. It's just for other possibilities for you, okay? So don't worry about it.